Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for last night's 2-0 win against Queen's Park Rangers at the Den. The first time we beat them at the Den since Steve Morrison's winner back in 2017. And let's be honest, it was one-way traffic. A fantastic performance. I'm saying the best since I've seen Gary Rowett in charge. As always, let's wind it back to the starting 11 that he did pick to get the job done. Okay, so only one change was made from the team that won last time out against Cardiff on Saturday, and that was a forced change, of course. Benik limped off in that match, and the goal scorer that came on, Mason Bennett, got to start the match. And my God, once again, as I said before, he's a tremendous talent. If he can stay fit and if he can stay focused, then he's some talent, as I said, and he really is going above and beyond there and becoming a really integral part of the team, in my opinion. Listen, people will be saying to me, you still want Rowett out your mug? And I'll say this, I have strong opinions, I stick to those opinions, I always back those opinions with reasoning, and look, you know who I am, I can't hide. I won't always get things right, and I'm not saying I'm wrong at the minute, but, you know, I'm not Proper War 87, or I'm not Pie and Mash Liquor 84, who people who come on the comments give it, go and hide again, when Rowett isn't doing so well. We are very up and down, and very inconsistent, and that's been a problem since Neil Harris was in charge, not just Gary Rowett. But last night, for me, the team were a different kind of animal, and as I've said, I will happily go round and cut Rowett's grass and make him and Mrs. R a lovely cup of tea if that's what they want, if that continues. If that continues. It's a high level to get to, as I said, in my opinion, the best performance since Rowett has been in charge. And even if we hadn't won the game last night, you cannot argue with what happened. The team went into the game, in my opinion, I've been trying to think of different ways to put this and different terms all day. They were just ferocious. They went into the game, in my view, with a belief that they could win it and an intent to try and win it from the first whistle. As early as 2 minutes in, Danny Mac fires over, still not got his first goal for the club. I'm sure, Dan, once you get the first, the others will start to fall behind them. But QPR just wasn't in the game. And I'm not going to say that QPR wasn't at the races because I think that does a disjustice to our team. I think that we were that good that we just didn't even give them the opportunity to get involved in a match. We were exciting. We were confident. We looked like we had team togetherness. We had ideas going forward. We kept trying to want to get forward and creating chances. And it just shows you we can create those chances. In previous games, it's begged the question, what are they doing in training? Do they really want to be there? Well, that's what they've been doing in training. They were absolutely superb last night, to a man, every single one of them, front to back. Our probably worst player on the night, if you had to rate the players, would be Bulkowski, because he just literally had fuck all to do other than to save down to his left at the end when the game was already won. So for those saying, you got it wrong with Rowett, well, I didn't, because that isn't what last night we've been getting served. I'm telling you it isn't, in my opinion. The Cardiff game we won, okay. The West Brom game we won, okay. The Birmingham game we scored 3 goals, okay. But that last night looked to me like the players really wanted it. It looked like they believed they could win the game. It looked like they went into the game trying to win the game. And do you know what? They fucking should as well, because some people go to work and they paint fences, or they work on the side of motorways, or you sit behind a desk. They play for a football club that is very fucking historic and prestigious in London, over 125 years old, nearly 130 years old, with a fan base worldwide and fans that 9 times out of 10 worship the ground the players walk on. So you should be going into that 90 minutes with foam coming out your mouth, snot blowing, gum showing, and prepared to fucking give everything you've got for that shirt. As I said, I realise that won't always work, and you will have off days, and you will have bad days, and you'll have days where there's detachment and you can't get going, and it can't always be exciting. But I'm not talking about promotion. I'm not talking about scoring 3-4 goals a game. I'm talking about the level of desire to give everything you got for that fan base. And it showed last night. It does reflect on the crowd. The crowd, again, was terrible. A terrible attendance for a London derby. And the noise in there last night was fantastic. And I point to a point in the second half where we was 2-0 up. And by this point, they was having a little bit of possession. That's fine, because now they got to come at us and they got to try and get back into the game. And we hustled and we harried them and we closed them down and pressed high. They knocked the ball back. They kept it for about 20 passes, and eventually they knocked it off the pitch. And the monk chant went up, the moo, because it was just, you could just sense that the crowd knew that the players were giving their everything. Now, again, can we follow up on this now, going to Blackburn on Saturday? That's a different video. And again, as I said, we have struggled in the past, not just under Rowett, but under Harris with consistency. So it's there, it's in them. You know, they have got the ability. They are getting coached the right things. So have I been pointing too much towards Rowett? Should I be more looking at the players? I don't know. It's a very difficult one to assess. But let's get into the game because I can't wait to talk about it. I've been buzzing last night. I was buzzing this morning. We got in the car after the game last night. And my boy went, yes! And he punched the roof. And I went, what the fuck are you doing? And he went, I couldn't help it. I literally couldn't help that. And I said, well, it's a brand new car, but okay, don't do it again. Fair enough. I'll let you have that one. But I know what he means. I got home last night. I watched the highlights about 20 times. No lie, about 20 times I watched the goals. And maybe I'm a sad bastard. Maybe I need to get a life. I don't know. But it just, the joy it gave me last night, just to say, do you know what? That's a fucking team to be proud of. And that is what they did for us last night. As I said, getting into the game was on the front foot from start to finish. Even the live stream crowd was up. Over 6,000 had tuned in from as far away, from Bracknell to Brazil last night. Loads of you in there, and it was a fantastic night. Really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, we was on the front foot. Danny McNamara, Mason Bennett does really well. And what Bennett's added to his game now, okay, sometimes ball into feet, it can bounce off. He needs to be stronger. He'll still go down. But he's got a lot more in the tank now. He's doing a lot more graft with what he's got in the tank. He's running channels. And it looks really, really dangerous, Mason Bennett. And of course, we shouldn't be doing what we're doing now. I'm going to give Rowett credit again. We haven't got a striker at the club fit. Maybe now you don't need to play football with a forward anymore. I can't work it out. But we was brilliant last night. I said every single one of them. That early chance that Mason Bennett forges out into the box, comes out eventually via Jeb Wallace and Danny Mack, who fires over the bar. But again, you know, it gave me great pride early and pleasure to see that the club had tweeted not just the two fantastic goals we scored, but Danny Mack crunching someone in the second half, the Millwall way, and the laugh that Sean Hutchinson gave him and a pat on the back just summed up the night, just summed up what we want. As I said, it hasn't always got to be unbelievable, although the Olays were out last night and unbelievable goals we did get. But just that, I want to play for this club and I'm going to fucking give these fans everything I've got for 90 minutes. And I just can't speak highly enough of the manager or the players. That is now 3 wins in our last 4 home games. I think scoring something like 7 along the way. Conceding only 1, something like that anyway. But 6 along the way, I think, yeah. But the only team we didn't score against was Preston. But we just continue to come forward on the front foot. And what you do see of us sometimes is we'll come forward, we'll keep coming forward, and we won't get the rewards. And then eventually the other team will come back into the game. But I didn't get sniffed. You know, in possession we was brilliant. We was almost as good as out of possession. Keith and Bell breaking the play up. Billy Mitchell creating, going forward. He seemed to have more licence yesterday. And QPR just couldn't get on the ball. I mean, I couldn't even tell you one player that played for them last night. And they've got that, is it Elias Chair? Is that his name? Don't even know if he played. Don't care if he played. I know Charlie Austin came on because he got booed, obviously. But, yeah, we were just brilliant. It was all about us last night, what we are capable of as a team. We ain't worried about what they can do, you know, and what they're about. We know what we're capable of at home if we can get the crowd on side early, and it's exactly what we did. Other good chances in the half. Billy Mitchell, fantastic. First time ball across the box to Jeb Wallace. Jeb Wallace, fantastic shot on the turn. Forces a really good save from their keeper. We had some great patterns of play as well. 3, 4, 5-man moves, but people making those gamble runs, playing those gamble balls, and continuing to do so, even if it didn't pay off. Jake Cooper has a header from a corner into the ground that the keeper pushes over the bar, and we was all over him. Now, they had a good goalkeeper, as I think Pete often says, and Chitty, how good's their goalkeeper? Well, I can tell you he was good. He was good with his feet, and he was a good cat as well, because he was constantly in the firing line. We go into half-time at 0-0. Now, historically, we'd be thinking, oh fuck, we've gone in at 0-0. And you know what happens now, they're going to nick one. But Preston, okay, we didn't score. Cardiff, 0-0 at half-time. West Brom, 0-0 at half-time. Last night, 0-0 at half-time. And we just, what is it that Rowett knows that I never noticed, and maybe a lot of us haven't? If we get a 0-0 at half-time, he's happy with that, especially at home. And I suppose you should be, but if you've been on top, maybe you want to, you know, it starts to creep in your mindset, you know, are they going to come back into this? But we come out in the second half and we started like we did with the first, just on top of them, just on them, not giving them a minute. And as I said, look, it's 90 minutes, so I expect it for 90 minutes, unfortunately, boys. No, 90 minutes out your week. I know you train during the week from about 8 till 1, have a bit of spag bowl and go home. But Saturdays and midweek games, the 90 minutes, the business end of things, that's when I want everything you got. And I would have happily cuddled every single player last night on the way out. Did see Benicophobe, by the way, on the last way out last night, and he looks to be limping still, so could be without him for a while. Of course, Luke Freeman is now injured, seems to be, for the season, and Ollie Burke limps out of the game. But again, the Millwall way, the chips are down, let's club together, let's bring people on that are going to do the job, and it may be a makeshift side, but as I said, maybe you don't need a striker anymore in football. Maybe that's something I overlooked, because Tyler Bury come on and sensational. And as I said, look, I'll always get things right. Sorry, I won't always get things right. I think I'll get things right the majority of the time, but you'll see great players back in the day. Alan Shearer was at his hometown club. Newcastle slipped through the net, ended up at Southampton. Newcastle ended up buying him back via Blackburn for like £15 million, a lot further down the line. So even top coaches, top scouts can get it wrong. So I'm only a fan, just like the rest of you. And Tyler Bury's one that I hold my hands up on this one. I got it wrong because I see a lot of him for the 23s. Very self-indulgent, as he still is, but now he's got the final product, so I don't care. He can do what he likes. And he's just his desire when he gets on the ball. He gets the ball when he thinks, I'm going at him. And I don't give a fuck if I lose it. I don't give a fuck what the manager thinks. And I don't give a fuck if the fans get the arse with it. Which, by the way, we won't, because as I said before, for showing desire and intent to try and hurt the opposition, Millwall fans are always going to love that. It's bums off seats, and people were saying it's, he's Paul Eiffel-esque. What I will say is, I didn't realise he's 24 years old. All right, he's only 24 in January, but he's no spring chicken. So we bought him in 2019 from Wimbledon. In 2022, 3 years later, he's playing in League Two. So it can just show you kind of just a little bit of belief, maybe a little bit of luck to get into the team due to injuries, COVID, etc. And now he's been given his chance, and he's absolutely grabbed it with both hands. Again, I will say this, I say, this player brilliant, that player brilliant. Our initial reaction is why our channel works. We say things in the heat of the moment, and this is why I always do the follow-up show the next day, because I've had time to assess, spoken to a couple of my mates, maybe watch the highlights back, and I'll give a more calculated overview. So I didn't mention Keith Bell last night in the full-time reaction, or a Beast and Bell, as Chitty's called him, which I love. But yeah, look, they was all brilliant, but I can't always mention all of them in that first instance, in that full-time reaction, where I get about a minute and a half to get across the sense to the people that wasn't there, what the game was about, basically. But listen, I'm going on, and I could coo all night long. But let's get on to the really good stuff. The second half, both goals, we continue to come forward. And this is what I say about us, what we're doing in training a week, patterns of play. Well, the first goal was brilliant, and Sean Hutchinson was involved in the start of both of them, by the way. He gives the ball to Jed. Jed sticks a long diag across to Malone. Malone sweeps it. He was back to his best last night as well. First time across the box. And in comes Mason Bennett, once again stepping up to the fold like he has done before during COVID to show he can be a striker. And I think you can see, I know he's had a lot of shit in his career, Bennett, and he may have made a few mistakes, and who doesn't, but I'm talking about off the pitch. I think he's quite a shy bloke, and I think he's a very confidence. He comes across as like a very confidence type player. He needs an arm around him, and if we keep giving him the love that we're giving him, he'll keep producing the goods, and he scores his third goal in 4 games at the Den, and it was a brilliant finish and a sweeping move. And it's the goal, both goals again last night, are like the goals where you watch the EFL and you think, why don't we ever score goals like that? Well, last night we scored 2 of them, and as someone said, I think it was Jake Sanders online, said, if Man City scored 2 goals like that, that's playing on a loop all day long on Sky Sports News. Absolutely brilliant first goal. Like I say, moved the ball quick. Jed Wallace in a 10, where I've been saying for 5 years he should be. Sweeping the ball out to Malone. Malone first time across. Bennett comes in with a first time finish. 1-0, and we didn't rest on our laurels. We pressed further, and we ended up getting the reward. And the second goal is just sensational again, isn't it? Again, Hutchinson wins it. Again, he feeds it forward. Ball comes across. Jed helps it on with an absolute deft touch. Tyler Bury's got work to do, but it just looked like he took that in his stride. Bearing in mind, he scored goals for Hartlepool, but he's not scored for Millwall yet. He's not scored at the Den with it in a big game, a London derby, and he just takes that in his stride as if it's a training ground game. It was absolutely brilliant. He cuts inside his defender, still work to do, and he's right behind it where he was, curls it, round the keeper, into the side netting, and it's all off in the Den. 2-0. Brilliant goal, brilliant performance, all round, all of them, every single one of them. As I said, I don't particularly want to highlight one player. I did give Jed the man of the match last night, just because his influence on the game. and it almost puts Bennett in again. Then he a brilliant ball over the top. Bennett just looked like he run out a bit of a steam by that point and fired straight at the goalkeeper. But we never looked in danger of losing that game. We looked brilliant going forward. As I said, we looked great defensively. I thought Cooper was outstanding defensively. I thought Hutchinson was brilliant, both ends of the pitch. You know, I've not mentioned Danny Mack there. He was superb again. Well, I did mention him earlier a little bit. Murray Wallace I've not mentioned. All right, he was brilliant, but let's let someone else have a little bit of the joy today. Honestly, couldn't wait to do this video today. Couldn't wait. And in previous weeks, I've been like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to do a post-match today. But it was an absolutely phenomenal performance. I've been going on for a while, and I'm worried that I'm going to cut the video and I'm going to forget something. But look, you was all there last night. You all saw how good it was. But now, as I said, I'm not moaning at all this season. We need to build. Blackburn will be a different type of animal because as good as our home form has now become, I think of away games and scarred in my memory is Blackpool away, is Huddersfield away, amongst other games. So let's wait and see for Saturday. As I said, it'll be a different type of game to approach away from home. But we do need now, surely that's going to be the message to the players. Right, home form sorted. Let's try and kick on. And I don't think we're a million miles off the playoffs now again. But still could be a push for us to playoffs. But if we play like we did last night, nothing's impossible. 3 wins out of 4 at home. And you know, for me saying I want him to leave at the end of the season, if he can produce that level of commitment from the player, I'm not talking results, I'm not talking league table, I'm not talking promotion. I'm talking if he can get that level of commitment, excitement and togetherness at the players every week, then I'll back him all day long. I'll hold my hands up. The videos are there. I said I wanted him out. And I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong. I'm not fussed. All I want is the best for the football club, us to go in the right direction, and me to get a few million views on the board. Let's be honest. But yeah, look, that's it. That's your post-match analysis done. I'm gutted because I know I'll switch off the camera and I would have forgotten something. But if you didn't see it, watch it back, watch the highlights. It was an absolute joy to be in beautiful South Bermondsey under the lights last night. So that's your lot for this post-match analysis video. I'm sure you've enjoyed it. I'm sweating off the back of it. I will see you tomorrow because there will be a preview show out for our long-ass trip to Blackburn Rovers on Saturday. I am now considering, shall I go to Blackburn after sulking like a big baby and saying I'm not going anymore for away games. But I don't know. I'll decide that later during the week. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Go on, the boys. Come on, you Lions.